Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking Games with Kellie and Andrew. I'm Andrew.
I'm Kellie.
Kellie, you got a haircut.
Yeah, self-inflicted.
Inflicted?
It's
Powerful word choice.
It's not my finest. For those who know, and you all do if you look at the thumbnails, I have bangs, and I no longer can have easy access to a hairdresser because I used to live with one who was my mother. So I have to kind of do it like with bangs. It's not like regular haircuts. You kind of have to upkeep them if you want them to be not unruly. So I said they're too long, so I cut them this morning, and I just I cut them a little short, and they're a little bit crooked, but
Hey, I think they look fantastic.
thanks. I appreciate that.
That's my gamer's perspective, at least.
Thank you for your gamer's perspective. That's really why I'm here on the show, to be honest.
For my gamer's perspective on hair, or just my gamer's perspective overall, or both?
Overall.
Okay. Well, my gamer perspective of this week is that we don't get a break. Acquisitions are not stopping. In fact, they are getting bigger. This one is not as big as last week's, obviously, because that was the biggest ever and probably will stay that way. Maybe forever. But Sony did retort at least a tiny bit to Microsoft's acquisition of Activision last week. And as of today on recording, hot off the presses, Sony has acquired Bungie for $3.6 billion. Bungie is the developer of Destiny. They were also the creators of the Halo series, an Xbox exclusive franchise. Some might say part of the reason that Xbox exists as it does today. So it's a little wonky that PlayStation now owns Bungie. They stated that they're still going to allow them to act independently. They're still going to maintain their multi-platform status with Destiny, and people inside Bungie have said that this will not change their plans. It will simply accelerate as they have new resources. And then PlayStation president Jim Ryan went ahead and said that we should expect more acquisitions. So this is a good way to round out that January acquisition bundle between the Zynga acquisition, the Activision acquisition, and now the Bungie acquisition. What are your thoughts, Kellie?
I don't really have any thoughts beyond that this was kind of surprising. I know we talked about it last week, like what Sony could do, but I'm feeling like this probably was not just like in response. I feel like it was probably, big acquisitions like this usually take a really long time to settle and get in place, but maybe the news had been delivered in this way because of what happened last week. I'm not really sure. I do think it's interesting that, Bungie makes Destiny now, and I do think it's interesting that Microsoft is Halo's parent, or Bungie was Halo's original parent. But, things change. Studios just don't make the games that they once did. You can look at a lot of big studios that have just kind of, I don't want to say abandoned, but, I think it's interesting in Halo's case what happened. It going to somebody else, but
Bungie is largely responsible for Xbox still existing today.
Right, which makes this very interesting. And I wonder what Mr. Ryan means by more acquisitions. I'm not sure what that means.
I assume that means similar scale, because we talked about like how do they respond was the question last week. And we had determined as people with logical brains that they couldn't respond because there is no company on par with Activision. So now it kind of feels like maybe they're just going to, gobble up a few of the mid-tier publishers like that. Because like I didn't even think about Bungie as a publisher, to be frank. Yes, they publish Destiny now. No, I didn't really think about that fact. I just saw them as the people who made Destiny. I didn't think of them as a publisher as well. And I was talking to a friend of the show earlier today. We were just discussing this, and a thought came to my mind. And this is something that's really sticking with me as we look at this news. When Sony acquired Housemarque and acquired Blue Point, and even when they acquired Insomniac a few years back, there was a very big difference in the terminology used. At that time, it was like, welcome to the team. And then they would have a banner with all of their IPs and stuff, all of the PlayStation IPs in a line, and it's like an exciting expansion. So like when they acquired Blue Point, they had like the Demon's Souls remake added to the banner. When they acquired Housemarque, they added Returnal to the banner. And there was never any discussion about the quantity of money exchanged. It was just welcome to the team, you know? It was like they were just bringing in people that they had worked with. This didn't feel like that. It wasn't like welcome to the team and Destiny was added to the banner. It was just a picture of like PlayStation and Bungie logos. And they very specifically talked about the amount of money spent on it. This almost feels less like, oh, we're expanding our creative departments, and more, we bought this thing. We made a business decision and we bought this thing so that they couldn't have it.
Right.
And I think that terminology changing is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I think I think Sony was one of the better companies with acquisitions because they made it seem like an exciting creative venture first. And this doesn't feel like that, especially because they've said that they're going to maintain multi-platform status and going to let Bungie act independently. So what is this? This does nothing. The only thing this does is it changes whose pockets the money goes to when you buy the new Destiny game or something of that nature.
Right.
And that's really boring. And just like, this is just Monopoly without the exciting prospects of like, what could this mean for creative IPs?
Yeah. It's just Monopoly without like the fun, colorful money.
Yeah.
And the little
exactly.
hotels and houses.
I feel like even last week it was Monopoly, but we still got some fun, you know. They threw a few $100 Monopoly bucks at us because they were like, hey, you're getting some cool games on Game Pass. And oh, hey, some dormant IPs might come back. So like, even though it was questionable in some ways, it was exciting in a lot of others. This doesn't feel exciting in any way to me.
Yeah, I know. I also don't really I mean, Destiny, I don't really care.
It makes bank, and PlayStation has expressed interest in going more into the live service model, but this just feels like a strange acquisition to me.
Yeah.
Also, it's funny that last week, if you had told me $3.6 billion, I'd be like, dang, that's a lot of money. Because I'd be like, that's half of the previous record holder, that's substantial. But now $3.6 billion looks like chump change in comparison to the 70.
Yeah.
And that's bad. 3.6 is a lot of money.
That's a lot of V-Bucks.
It's a lot. I can't even fathom how many Fortnite skins you could get. That's probably what Jim Ryan's going to do. Oh, wait, no, he spent the money.
Right.
I guess Jim Ryan has to return his Fortnite skins.
Yeah, the acquisition was done all in V-Bucks.
To avoid taxation. Kelly.
Speaking of scams.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get this crap out of the way. We have to talk about it every freaking week, but let's just speed through this garbage.
So last week, or maybe I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, we talked about Troy Baker doing this voice verse NFT thing and how he was very much like, oh, I'm thinking about it. I didn't understand what it was. Well, he apologized and he said he's not going to do it anymore because he listened to people and he heard them out. And he also was like, and I'm also sorry for calling you guys haters, which I thought was funny. That was my favorite part of his apology because he was like, I'm sorry that I called you guys haters for having like legitimate criticisms. Because anyone who's critical of me ever is a hater. So I completely relate to him there. I'm just kidding for those who don't know. It's hard to discern tone. But yeah, it's pretty unremarkable. I mean, it's pretty unremarkable moment in history.
Yeah, I mean, the news is that news isn't happening anymore.
Right.
Hopefully, the reason that I think this is of any importance, though, is I'm hoping this is like the start of a trend of backlash working.
Yeah, it's just hard right now because it feels like, and this is sort of beyond the video game space, but it feels like there's this weird like AstroTurf campaign of like all these celebrities shilling NFTs and they don't know what it is and they don't understand, but it's just like a quick cash grab, and it does not bode well for any industry, but video games, movies, TV, it's all kind of, they're almost in the same, I don't want to say same boat, but they're in the same dock.
Yeah, definitely in the same general region.
Right.
At least.
Right. Rather. No, go ahead.
Last bit of NFT news this week, thankfully. Although this is very bad. Team 17, a huge independent publisher who helps with a lot of smaller studios and the creators of the Worms series, has announced a new line of NFTs based on worms. They promise that these things will be more environmentally friendly than most NFTs. And they also, in response to backlash, instantly assured fans that they would not be adding NFTs into traditional game releases. The backlash has been severe, to say the least, because most NFT announcements have severe backlash. One example is that Aggro Crab, a developer who released Down Under last year. I think I talked about this on that show. I really like that game. But they announced that they are severing all the relations with them, and Team 17 was their publisher before, so that is a massive change for them. I'm hoping that maybe next week we get to report on this the same way we just did on Troy Baker, and we get to say that this was stepped back on because they already had to partially clarify because of how severe the backlash was. So I'm hoping that this goes badly for them.
I actually think it's very funny that they're like, but we're not incorporating it into the game because, of course they're not, because you can't right now on Steam, and Steam is probably how they'd make the most money. So of course, so if they can't put it on Steam, they're not going to do it. I would bet all of my NFTs. I'm just kidding. I don't own any. And I never will. But I would bet a lot of money that if Steam didn't have that rule in place, they would put NFTs in their game for sure. They obviously don't care that much if they're and I'm sure the little worm NFTs are so ugly because
all NFTs are.
That's actually true. They are all very ugly, but like little worms, come on, man. Come on.
Ugly.
But something that is not ugly, something that might be quite beautiful.
Yeah.
A new Crisis game was confirmed. It's been a long time. It's been a while since I said sorry.
I like these notes that you're hitting.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about Crisis? Is it Crisis 4 or just Crisis the new one?
It just says, let's see. Next Crisis game, ... confirmed. A new Crisis game is happening. No details. Early stage of development. Early stages of development. Wow. So, and they're also looking for jobs. I mean, they're looking for people right now.
Yep.
So.
That is we have a set of stories here in a row that are games announced in very unexciting fashion. And it seems like it's because they are having trouble getting people to work on these things. So they have to announce what they are so people are interested in them. But this one's exciting for me purely based on like a graphical standpoint. Like Crysis has always been good at pushing technology to its like absolute furthest it can possibly go. And I'm excited to see what a new game would look like because it's been a long time. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since Crysis 3. Yeah. So this Crysis 4 or whatever it's going to be called, I'm excited to see it on a technical level.
The re-Crysis-ing.
If it's called that, Kelly, I'm going to be...
Happy? Please?
Sure.
Chuffed?
Sure. And not upset at how horrible that sounds.
Okay, well, I was just spitballing. You don't have to be so critical.
I'm going to be critical. I'm going to be critical.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
You
Let's.
must apologize
I'm going to
for
keep
your
this train
sins.
rolling of games announced in boring ways, though. EA and Respawn have confirmed 3 new Star Wars games. Jedi Fallen Order is getting a sequel at Respawn. They also announced that they're working on an FPS, a first-person shooter game, as well as a strategy Star Wars game. It's a little boring.
I have a few thoughts.
Share them.
Never, ever in my life do I want to be playing a first-person Star Wars game and then be like, guns. Dude. It should
What
be
about
like a
Battlefront?
lightsaber dueling game. It should be like a Dynasty Warriors Star Wars game.
So I'm assuming you didn't care for the new Battlefront games that came out in the past few years.
No.
That's fair.
I played the one, and you know what? I did kind of like it, but it was like
Yeah.
like
And
I
this
wouldn't
is
play
also,
I wouldn't play it more than I did. I didn't buy it.
you're also hitting on a very good point because like this doesn't sound good. This is the kind of thing where you need a proof of concept visually for me to be interested in it. And they are just announcing a set of things. And I think a Jedi Fallen Order sequel was kind of a shoo-in. But also that would have been a really cool thing if you were watching like a live press conference or something and then they like do like the, I don't know, Star Wars stuff. And then they zoom out and you see like the kid from Shameless. And you're like, oh my God, it's Fallen Order sequel.
Oh my God, it's Lip Gallagher.
It's not, that's the other one.
No. Ian.
I
No.
like the idea that Ian Gallagher is.
How do they have a child named Liam and Ian?
They did have a child named Liam and Ian.
I know. How?
Oh, you're mad at the show, not me.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Okay, it is stupid.
And Lip is well, I don't want to insult any lips out there, but that's a really dumb name. That's a body part. That's not a name.
If you're listening to the show and your name is Lip, please reach out. We will apologize to you directly if you exist.
I won't.
Oh, I will.
You know what else? I feel like we're just being inundated with Star Wars video games the past 5 years. I'm exhausted.
We talked about this a lot at the time of the Game Awards. Licensed games had like this like up and down, or I guess it'd be down and up, and now they're down again. What would that be called? A mountain, a peak? Because
a ski slope.
They used to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in like the PlayStation 2 days, everything got a licensed video game, and most of them were bad or mediocre at best. And then going into like PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 era, it slowed down drastically, but they started to get good. And now they're all like fine, but there's so many licensed games and so few new IPs that it's exhausting, you know? I can't get excited about a new Star Wars game or a new Wonder Woman game or a new Wolverine game even. And I love that developer because there's too many licensed things. I want something new. And this is just a set of Star Wars things, you know?
Right.
It's all Star Wars, all Marvel, all DC.
Right. But hey, if you want something new, do I have some news for you? And that is that Blizzard, everybody, we know them. We love them. Just kidding. Blizzard announced a new IP, a new intellectual property. It's going to be a survival game in an original universe. It's going to be called Left for... I'm just kidding. I have no idea what this game is going to be. And it doesn't really seem like they do either, so.
No.
Survival is so vague that literally could be anything. Zombies?
I mean, the concept art is... It looks like foresty. There's a mirror and a guy with an axe.
Oh, yeah, I see, yeah. Looks like life is
that
strange.
That doesn't tell us anything, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yes.
There's definitely... I don't know what's going on here. I am, because it's Blizzard, I'm inherently a little like, we'll see. And also this one demonstrates, I would say, more than every other story that we just talked about, a desperate need for employment or employees to work on this.
Yeah, everybody wants to work at Blizzard right now, as well.
I'm sure there's a decent influx after last week's news, but still, Blizzard of all places, nah. No, thank you.
No, thanks.
To wrap up this boring announcement trio, there's 4 games. Boring announcement quadrant. New Call of Duty games have sort of been announced. They confirmed, yeah, it's crazy. You would never believe it, that there's a new Call of Duty game in the works. There are 3 Call of Duty games on the way, and the reason we found out about this is because they have all been locked in for PlayStation releases already. So the 3 games that this includes are? The 3 included games are Modern Warfare, a sequel to the Modern Warfare franchise coming this year, a new mainline release next year as well, so presumably this holiday and 2023, as well as a current gen sequel to Warzone. So this would be only on PlayStation 5 and Series X, and that is also coming in 2023. I suppose this is not super surprising. Nothing about this is surprising from like the game perspective. Of course, we're getting a new Call of Duty this year and next. I suppose Warzone might be surprising and exciting for some people, a sequel to that.
What is a mainline Call of Duty game?
Like Black Ops, Modern Warfare.
Oh.
Just like a new main entry, not Warzone.
Okay, it's just a bit confusing when you have the same property and like 6 different versions of it.
Yeah, it's probably like a new Black Ops that's one of my guesses.
Cold War
3.
2? 3?
2.
The coldest war?
Colder War.
It just takes place now?
Yeah.
Topical.
It is very cold outside.
It is,
and also, there's a war going on. A war for our gaming. I don't know. I'm going to give up on that thread. Just moving on. This confirms that that's not going Xbox exclusive within the next 2 years, which doesn't surprise because the deal won't even be finalized for a year and a half. So it'd be really surprising if 6 months after that they were already exclusive.
Yeah. Very peculiar.
Yeah. I'm hoping that even though the deal isn't finalized, Microsoft's hand is already kind of swaying how things work, because it'd be really cool if Call of Duty took off a year in 2024 so they could actually take time to make something new and exciting.
Call of Duty underwater.
They've done that. I feel like I remember seeing a shot of shooting a gun under the water.
Underwater.
Oh, like with an ER.
Yeah. Under Journey to the Center of the Earth. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
20,000 Leagues Under the COD.
Ooh. That was really good.
Thanks.
So, I have something to say about the most important day in gaming.
Oh.
In the next month.
I guess you could argue that it is the most important day of the next month, at least.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Guess.
I know. I'm looking at the same sheet as you, Kelly.
Why don't you give me a guess?
I'm going to guess because you're so... Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That was so obnoxious.
Fine. No, you're fine. You're fine. Shut me down. It's fine.
No, can you really guess, though?
I can't. I'm looking at the answer. It feels unfair. It feels like I'm cheating.
It's not Elden Ring.
Is it your birthday, Kelly?
No.
I know. I'm trying to come up with fake guesses.
It's fake.
Cut that. Editor, cut that out.
Cut that.
Kelly, is it your birthday?
No.
Kelly, what is on February 25th that's not Elden Ring?
Steam Deck is launching.
Wow.
You can play all your favorite Steam games in the palm of your hands.
Wow.
Both palms, both hands.
Are you getting it?
No.
Yeah. I have one.
Pre-ordered?
Yeah. Probably going to cancel that.
Why?
I don't want to pay for it.
Oh. I was going to say I don't have one and I don't have one pre-ordered. And not that I could have it any other way. It has to be pre-ordered right now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I love over-explaining. I already have a computer and Steam is on my computer and I don't feel the need to take it with me where I go. The only thing that I can think is it would be really, 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 really fun to play Crusader Kings 3 on my Steam Deck. But then I'm realizing I don't even have that game through Steam.
You can still get it through Game Pass. You can leave the Steam front page and do anything a computer can do.
How much is it?
There are 3 models. One is 400, one is 500, one's 650, I think. And I think I have the 500 because it has an SSD.
Well, we aren't all money bags. McMoney bags.
Yeah, which is why I'm canceling my pre-order. I just impulsively pre-ordered it the day they allowed it, but I didn't really want one. I just was excited. Something I am excited for, though, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Part 2. It has been coming up on 2 full years since Part 1 released. And producer Yoshinori Kitase has confirmed that we are going to see this game this year. Part 2. We're going to see it. Not release it. See it. I want to be... Are you excited or?
I'm trying to be, but I keep getting unexcited.
I'm excited because I love Part 1 so much, and I am excited to play Part 2. The 25th anniversary of the original game's release just happened yesterday, if you're listening to this on day of release. So they were just talking about the game. Listen, I want to be so excited. I want to be so excited, but I am concerned that we might see so little of this game this year that it's kind of well, why do we care? They can't just show a logo. They showed a logo and they announced the remake, and that was awesome. And it was fine because that is self-explanatory, but you can't just do Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 logo because we know it's happening.
I
would
like to see Vincent.
Yeah.
Capital V. Valentine, capital V.
I really hope when we get a trailer, we get to see Vincent. I don't think we will, though, because the way they revealed the original, it was kind of they did a big reveal of the game, and then every subsequent big reveal was a character announced, a character reveal. There was a later one to reveal Aerith, and then a later one to reveal Tifa, and then a later one to reveal other characters. So I'm hopeful that we see Vincent, capital V, Valentine, capital V, in the first trailer. But I have a feeling he won't be.
I feel like
I know that you want it, because I want it too, Kelly.
Who else? Who else?
No one.
See?
I think
He's
they would
the
just
only
show
one.
the party and Yuffie, probably.
But we've been there, done that.
I know.
She had her own thing,
I know. I'm with you.
Let me see the goth.
But also, what if Sid came first? They might show Sid before they show Vincent.
That's true. I actually think that would make more sense because you get Sid first, right, in the game?
It's up to you, I think.
Oh.
You don't have to get Vincent in the original game.
Oh.
So I think you can get him before Sid, or you can get Vincent right before the final boss if you want. But who's to say? I mean, there's going to be no optional characters. He will definitely be required. They're not going to put a ton of work into him and then have people just miss him.
He better be.
But I hope that we're talking about this. My optimistic hope is that around midsummer, E3 time. That's
Midsummer.
when we can. Yeah.
What about What about
Hereditary.
Hereditary?
Yeah. I'm hoping that around the time of Hereditary's release that we get to talk about this game more.
I hope so too. I hope that we see it at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah. Maybe I mean PlayStation kind of owes us a nice state of play. You know what? I take that back because I bet if they have one in like April or May, it'll be Final Fantasy 16 based on what we know. So I don't think they would show that in Remake Part 2.
And you know what else they might show?
Tell me what.
MLB, the show.
Wow.
22. Actually, I think that would be a little bit too late because it is coming out in April. So that would be kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But it'll be on the PS4 and the PS5 and the Xbox One and the Xbox 2 and and it will be launched on Game Pass on the first day and Switch. Woo!
I feel like I don't care. I'm just gonna put it out there.
I'm sorry.
It sells incredibly. People love that game.
I know, but
I'm
not people.
The two things that hit me about this is one, it's still a Game Pass launch game. Like it's launching on Game Pass, which was crazy to me last year, but I thought maybe it was just like a one-time thing to get people invested in the series and then they'd make it, you have to pay for it. Because it's already kind of weird that a PlayStation game is on Xbox. Like it says PlayStation Studios on the box.
Right. It's peculiar.
So it's crazy to me that it's staying on Game Pass day one. I want to know about the specifics of that deal, but we never will. And also, it's coming to Switch, which we don't know anything about specifics, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be a full game and not just a horribly stripped down version of it that has like a fraction of what makes the game special.
You know what they should do to win my favor specifically is release Backyard Baseball. Re-release it on the Switch.
Who's they?
I don't know. The baseball people.
I don't know who made that.
I'm sure. Hold on. Let's do
somebody has the rights, yeah. Backyard Baseball is owned by... What the heck? Why is this so hard to find?
Humongous Entertainment?
Among Us Entertainment.
Surely. Oh my gosh. They made Pajama Sam and Putt Putt.
And Putt Putt.
And they became defunct in 2006.
They still release stuff, though. They release like Putt Putt and stuff on Switch all the time. Why can't they put your baseball game on there?
Seriously, dude.
Maybe there's some weird rights things going on.
It was like a cereal. It was like a cereal. Like the CDs would be in the cereal box. And their website is not secure. What's going on?
Come on, Humongous.
Come on, Humongous. Wow. So Freddy the Fish is on Switch too.
This is a very strange tangent.
Yeah, sorry. I just loved Backyard Baseball, but it's cool. Maybe it was soccer. No, it was baseball.
Okay.
You know who has a ball-shaped head?
Oh.
Is The Rock.
Who?
His head is shaped like a ball. A backyard baseball. The Rock was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be in a new video game movie, and it's gonna be sick and cool." In other words, and
you could say the word.
Can I? He's like,
why
"It's
not?
gonna be badass."
You're allowed to say that here.
You know what's funny is, I think he should be in a live-action remake of Nintendogs, and he should be the dog.
Like voicing him, or like Dwayne The Rock Johnson on all fours with like fluff taped to him.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I want to see that too.
You know what's funny?
What?
I had seen a clip of him. Maybe this is unrelated. I had seen a clip of him, and he had just gotten done working out, and he was very sweaty, and his head was steaming in the sun. So, like, maybe he'll be in an Attack on Titan game, because Titans do that in that for watchers of the anime and readers of the manga.
Yeah, I think that's very likely. I think that's what they're talking. I think
Thanks.
when they say video game movie, they mean an adaptation of a manga into an anime, into a video game, back
Maybe-
into a movie.
Maybe he's going to be in the new Putt Putt movie.
The new Did you read something on the Humongous website that I did not see?
No, it's me. I'm the producer, the executive producer of the Putt Putt movie that
I don't think you should say that, Kelly. I think you
May
should
never-
really keep that under wraps.
may never see the light of day.
Kelly, you're gonna get in trouble. Don't say that stuff.
I know. I'm sorry. I take it back. It's not real. I was
Okay.
just kidding. I haven't been in talks with Dwayne. I mean, The
Dwayne.
Rock, as you guys call him.
I think he probably calls himself that.
The Rock or Dwayne?
In like his own home when he's talking by himself, he's like, "Yeah, you rock, The Rock."
I would if that was my nickname. Come on.
Yeah. Well, one character we know that he's not going to be playing is Master Chief, because we have gotten a premiere date for the new Halo television series on Paramount, and that is March 24th. Came with along with a new trailer that showed it the Super Bowl. Wait, what football happened?
It was the AFC and the NFC championship last night.
Okay. It
on
happened there.
Sunday night.
I know a lot about football, which is why I didn't know that the Super Bowl hadn't happened yet.
Super Bowl.
But is what?
It's usually in early February.
Okay. Will there be any video game trailers there?
There might be.
If there's not, I will forget that
Freddy
it ever
the
happened.
Fish
Yeah,
at the Super Bowl.
he's playing.
Oh my god, he's the halftime show. And he's playing in the game.
Kelly, you need to take a deep breath. Sip on your tea. We got an extensive look at the series in a new trailer though. They showed Cortana for the first time, who is played by the same actor that played her in the video game. I was very surprised by that. She looks like Cortana, or she looks like herself though, which surprised me because I read that news before I saw the trailer and I assumed like they'd CG her to look exactly like the games. But nope, looks like the actress. I mean, she's blue, so she's got that going, but she does not look like Cortana from the games at all.
No.
It looks better than the past trailers.
Still looks a little bit stinky.
It's a little cheap looking.
I don't get it.
It looks like an iffy Star Wars spinoff to me.
It looks like the Book of Boba Fett,
It's all the desert. There's
which
so much
to
desert.
me is an iffy Star Wars spinoff. No, I agree. I think it looks a little bit cheapy. And I think it's weird that they're like, oh, it's premiering March 24th. And it's like, it's February. You didn't know that already? Like,
I guess I don't keep up on like TV that much, so I don't know what the standards are. But like the fact that they were just showing this off for the first time, like hardly over a month ago, and they were being coy about 2022, like I assumed that meant late 2022, but here it is, March. Also, I didn't realize that this is like episodic. Well, I knew it was episodic, obviously. It's a TV show. I didn't know that they were going to be weekly episodes, which disappoints me enormously.
yeah.
So I will watch the first episode for the show. And then if it's great, I'll probably watch all of it and talk about it once it's over. But I have a feeling this might be a one and done situation.
I have that same feeling.
I guess we'll find out March 24th, which is annoying because Kirby comes out the day after. And I will only want to talk about Kirby on the show.
And we will be past my birthday at that point. So I won't have anything to look forward to.
Oh, I forgot about the gag of your birthday being on February 25th. I was like, your birthday's not February, Kelly.
No, but it is before the Halo series releases.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are becoming other things. No, that wasn't very good.
Now roll it back. Editor.
Editor,
Editor.
cut that out.
Cut that.
Just trim that.
All right. Go ahead. Try again, Kelly.
Speaking of things that are becoming other things. Oh,
No, that was
damn it. I thought I could.
just. How about okay? Here. Try saying. Speaking of video games that are becoming television.
Okay.
Yeah, try that. Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Editor. Okay, we're good. Yeah, you're good. We're good. Go ahead.
Speaking of things that are becoming other things. Sorry.
You know what? Just roll forward. I have like this voice versed NFT that I can use of your voice.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So I can just put that in later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I love my voice. Yeah, being still. Okay. Yeah. It Takes Two, the game, is getting a movie adaptation. What? This is so stupid.
Yeah.
This is so dumb.
This definitely feels like a Hollywood executive just being like, "Ooh, that game won Game of the Year. Let's turn it into a movie."
I don't get it. It like does it of all the games in the whole world to not have to be a movie, it's this one. There's a very concise story. It's not like a big universe. It's already pretty like cinematic.
Yeah.
What?
It's also the story's it's not great. It's not fantastic. I mean, it's good and it's charming, but part of the charm is like
the video game part.
Yeah, like this is similar, ironically, to my concerns about The Last of Us, because I like the plot, and The Last of Us has a far greater plot, I think. But part of the reason I like the story is because the time in gameplay where the characters get to organically interact with each other. And when you remove that part, what's the point? Especially a game like this that I enjoyed it because of my experience of playing it with my partner, and like we got to really collaborate and talk about it and enjoy it together. That's the point. But if you're just watching a movie, what? That's
silly.
Stupid.
It's silly Billy stuff.
This is one of the dumbest film adaptation video game announcements I've heard in a long time.
I feel like it's not going to happen.
It's probably going to be in like development hell for like
20.
7-8 years and then just disappear completely. Kind of like the Sly Cooper movie. We got a full trailer for the Sly Cooper movie in 2016. Have I talked about this on the show before?
I don't know. I feel like you and I have talked about it. I feel like we've talked about it because I have talked about Sly Cooper before. Carmelita Fox. Come on, you guys. Come on. Murray the Hippo. What?
Yeah. I just really didn't want to talk about Carmelita Fox anymore if that's how you were going to talk.
No, I wasn't. I was just laughing. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing. I was just feeling mirthful. I wasn't.
That's your word, isn't it?
What can I say? I'm full of mirth. I don't know. I'm full of myrrh. Like one of the three wise men.
You are pretty wise.
Well.
3 wise Pokemon.
It's. Oh. Ooh.
Kelly.
Yes.
I don't have to tell you because I know you know, but guess what? Came out Friday.
What? Came out Friday.
Pokémon Legends Arceus.
More like. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you're allowed to not like it that much.
No. I want to hear your thoughts on it first.
So this game came out Friday, Kelly. Quick story. I got it from Amazon because I was like, well, every time I order something from them, it arrives at like 10 a.m. And I'm like, and I want to start my day with Pokemon because I wasn't working Friday. And I was like, this can be my whole day. It arrived at 8:45 p.m.
Oof.
So I was just sitting around all day, not working, impatiently waiting for it. I finished Hitman 2. I'll get back to that in the future when I finish the whole trilogy, but like I just was filling the time waiting for it. But it finally came Friday. I've played 14 hours in a couple days. So I've been binging this game. Just for perspective though. How about you, Kelly? Have you played 14 hours in 2 days?
I haven't. I got it Friday. I just bought it from the Nintendo Actually, now that I say that, I think I got it Saturday. I bought it from the Nintendo eShop, so I just digital downloaded it. But I didn't really play it until like Saturday mid-afternoon.
Okay.
And I don't know if we just want to dive right in.
Do it.
I was very excited to play it, but I feel like I got really burnt out in like the first 2 hours because to me, and this is much of my personal opinion, it just felt really, really hand-holdy. Like really, really hand-holdy. Like
No, I'm with you on that.
I feel like I could not take a step without somebody being like, wait,
Yes.
don't stop. They were like, you have to catch this Pokemon again. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I caught 3 at the very beginning, and then they were like, okay, you need to catch 3 more. I'm like,
yeah.
There are certain things that I feel like, and this is just my perspective, but this game seems to be modeling itself on other games that are very popular on the Nintendo Switch. And I feel like those games...
I think we can be mean about the Breath of the Wild comparisons.
Well,
it's
my thought
on
is
its sleeve.
Breath of the Wild is very not hand-holdy. I felt like I played the first like 15 minutes of that game, and then they were like, all right, go.
Oh, yeah,
Do
for
it.
sure.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I liked that because Breath of the Wild, it was like this huge daunting map. But then when you actually like get into it, it's a lot more fun to just discover things by yourself. I feel like, and I kind of had a feeling this would happen because it's Pokemon, but it's like they cannot help themselves from being like, you are 2 years old and you've never played a Pokemon game before in your entire life, which is like not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I got a little burnt out on the hand-holdiness. So I think I've only played like 3 hours so far.
Yeah. I will say, because I felt the very exact same way, especially in the opening like 30 to 45 minutes. Those specifically made me very concerned for the quality of the game because it just like, I was just screaming in my head, sword and shield, because that game holds your hand aggressively start to finish with no breaks. And that's how this game opens. And then once it even introduces you to the open world, like you just said, it's like, you made the prime example. It's like you catch 3 Pokemon right at the start. And then a character's like, I need you to prove that you're capable. Go catch 3 Pokemon. And I'm like, what?
I did that.
Wait. What was I doing before then? But I will say, once you get over that hump right at the beginning, it opens up. The main story quest is still hand-holdy, but the nature of it is it's like you get to a waypoint and then it enters like a linear section. But you don't have to go to the waypoint at any point. You're kind of in control of your own journey. You get to move around the open world, which I should say is not actually an open world. It's like 5
Zones,
open
right?
areas, which I think was smart. Because if the wild area and Sword and Shield taught us anything, Pokemon is very bad at transitioning types of areas into each other. Like, it would just be snowing, and then you'd be like, you take 4 steps, and the snow's gone, and it's a beach. So
That's
they're bad
how it
at
should
that.
be in real life, though.
Yeah, you're like, I want to build a snowman. Now I want to swim in 90-degree heat. So I think the zone approach was probably smarter, because if they're bad at that, let's get away from that weakness. You know, let's avoid that completely. So it definitely opens slow, but it gets very exciting very quick. I think this is genuinely the shakeup that was needed in the series. I was a huge Pokemon Go player about 2 years ago, 1 year ago. It was like a year-long segment of my life where I was playing Pokemon Go. And I think this learned from the best parts of that. The catching mechanics they're really speedy, where like you can walk up to a Pokemon, and as long as you're either hidden or they are very docile, you just catch them. You don't have to fight them like you did in old Pokemon games. And also, when you throw a Pokeball, you throw it and then you're still free to move. So like if you approach 3 Bidoofs and they're just hanging out, and they're like, hey, we're Bidoof, we don't care. You can literally just like toss, and throw 3 Pokeballs at them all at once. And then sit there and watch them get caught, and you don't have to like wait for like a text box being like, oh, Bidoof was caught, and then do you want to nickname it? Not all that, like all these slowing down elements.
Yeah.
Which is essential because the big part of this game is filling your Pokedex. And in previous entries, if you've played Pokemon before, you know this. You catch a Pokemon, it's in your Pokedex, it's registered, end of story. But this is like an ancient version of the Pokemon universe. So the humans don't really know about Pokemon. If you catch a Pokemon, it's like, well, yeah, we know what it is now, but like we don't really understand it. So you have to research it. You have to do research tasks. So you have to fulfill 10 research tasks for every Pokemon before they're actually registered into your Pokedex completely. So like you have to catch a few of them, defeat a few of them, watch them use this move, a bunch of different things you can do. Some even include like side quests you can go on. And I think that really enhanced the catching experience, because that's always my favorite part, is filling the Pokedex. But now it feels like I'm legitimately doing something. I'm legitimately helping research these Pokemon.
Yeah. I think it's a lot more engaging than the standard get gym badges, become champion story.
Absolutely.
Which I think was bound to happen. I think if you look at the most engaging and exciting Pokemon games you see, they're the ones with, you know, really good stories, or like they're different. They change things. It's not always the same. And yeah, I mean, Black and White it is, oh, get badges, become champion. The story was a lot more rich because they made it more rich. And then, you know, like Sun and Moon, they were like, no more gym leaders. And then, those are the only two I can think of.
Those are really the two. Yeah, no, that's a fair way to stop it.
But I think it's a lot more rewarding because when it's become such a system now. Standard Pokemon games where it's like, do this and then you become the champion. It's like, it feels a lot more rewarding to do something new that you haven't really done before. I mean, you've caught Pokemon before, but like you were saying, you have to do different things to really complete, to feel a sense of like completion. And I feel like it's a lot more exciting. And I wish that future Pokemon games, you know, Generation 9 or whatever, I hope that they see that there are elements beyond just the standard formula that people are very drawn to.
Yeah.
And I really, really like the new battle mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
I sort of described them as like, because this is really all I have to base it off of, but like in the Tales games, there's like a very fluid movement to the battles where you can kind of like walk around, and it's the same here. Your character is able to move, but the system is still familiar. It's not like super confusing. And if you've played Pokemon your entire life, I mean, I think you'll take to this game very easily.
Yeah. And it's the little things, like being able to move around as your trainer while you're fighting doesn't really change a lot about the battle system. Actually, it doesn't really change much at all, but it feels way more organic because, like, in other Pokemon games, you enter a battle and then it takes you to like this battle zone, and sometimes it kind of looks like where you just were, but it's never 1-to-1. But now you throw your Pokemon, you literally like take a ball in your hand as a character and press a button to throw it at Pokemon, and then they appear in the field. And you are where you were, you know? Nothing's moved. You're not in some weird like little like battle zone. You're actually in the world. And it's even like little things. Like there was a battle I was like not having a good time with. So I just was like, what if I just ran away, like actually ran away? Not press the run away button. Actually ran away. And then I did. And that was it. I ran away from the battle because I literally ran away. And I was like, that is a small detail that just feels so much better than pressing a runaway button.
Right.
And I think this game has a lot of that, like those little flavor touches that make it feel like you're more organically in the world. Because I will say the visuals don't do that.
No. They don't. It is not that fun to look at. I like the models, and I don't know why. I guess I've always thought that Bidoof was cute, But seeing like a little group of Bidoofs just like hanging out, I was like, oh my God,
I
they're
am
so
with you.
cute. I don't know why. It was like,
They look like they're actually in the world now. They
Right.
exist there.
and they're not like, I don't know how to describe it. They just look a little bit more real. Like, I think the models are very good in this game. I mean,
Yeah.
they could be better, but everything could always be better. But the world itself is like shockingly visually displeasing. I hope that's not too harsh, but it's like,
No, it's pretty ugly.
it's just, it doesn't look, I don't know. I just don't get it. I feel like Game Freak they just can't do 3D worlds very well.
No. I mean, the grass is very ugly.
Ugh.
I will say, at the very least, it's less ugly than the YouTube trailers.
That's
Because
true.
my goodness, those YouTube trailers were rough. It looks ugly, but it's not like as abysmal.
That's
And
true.
like the textures on things are not nice.
No.
The water is very ugly. But it's a Pokemon game, and the Pokemon are very pretty, and they look shockingly organic in their environments, considering how inorganic the environment looks. And they're animated very, very well. That is
Mhm.
the biggest change, I think, for this game, is that every Pokemon is animated in a way where it looks like alive and not just a character model with like a very light bounce to make it not look still.
Yeah. I would also add to that. I think the character models, like the humans, look pretty good too.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I feel like I like the very unique style of the region. And I really like the main character. I mean, Dawn and
Yeah.
Lucas are my favorite, so it
I'm playing
stands
as
to
I'm
reason.
playing as the female protagonist. Are you as well?
Yeah, always.
Okay.
I have to. She's got bangs. I mean,
Well, I
to-
gave her. You can customize visually your character quite a bit later, and mine looks like unrecognizable compared to the Dawn you start with, which I thought was very cool.
yeah. She doesn't really. I mean, her bangs are pulled back for most of the game, but
Yeah.
for most of my
Well,
games so far.
You have the option to change like back to the traditional look as well. One thing that I really like about like the organicness of like your Pokemon being in this world for real, the sizes are accurate now for the most part. There are Pokemon that I have never known how big they were. So I'm a huge fan of Shinx
Mhm.
and the Shinx line. Shinx is like a little, I don't know, 4-legged creature with giant ears. And it's like up to your waist as a character. And that always made sense to me, it's a little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because the way Pokemon games have always been framed, I thought it evolved and just got kind of fluffier, but was the same size. But then in this game, mine evolved into the second evolution, and I threw it out, and I was like, oh, he's bigger now. That surprises me.
Yeah.
And then it evolves into Luxray, and I tossed it out, and he's taller than me. And I was like, oh. And that's been happening so much, where I was like, oh, I didn't like process the actual size of these Pokemon. And that's one of the hugest touches for me, is actually being able to tell what these Pokemon look like beyond like a picture. Like I know what they would look like in a world now.
Some of them are very scary.
Yeah.
I was scared for my life. I said,
Well, some of them are a big threat. Yeah.
I said, Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared. I don't want to be here anymore. Get me back to the village. Get me back to Jubilife. I'm scared.
Jubilife got good music. This game has pretty good music. Do you like the music?
I do. My notes are very simple. I said,
Yeah.
Music, very good.
I think the music is pretty darn good. The biggest thing for me is it has some really good Diamond Pearl callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody like that's my favorite entry in the series, I really liked hearing some of that. There's a lot of Diamond Pearl callbacks, which makes sense. This is a prequel to Diamond Pearl, but all of them really made me excited when I hear them or see them.
Yeah. And it's there's I feel like they're also so recognizable. It's like I feel like Gen 4 and Gen 5 both had very, very recognizable music.
Yeah.
In my opinion. In my humble opinion.
Also, but to be clear, you don't have to play Gen 4 to enjoy this. I feel like it's mostly independent, and it just has some references more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, so the graphics are bad. That is a fact. But much to my surprise, the performance has been very stable for me. At very few points have I lost really any frames. It has been a solid, I mean, it's 30, so it's not incredible. But I haven't really had any frame rate drops. And the trailers, when we were seeing this game early on, were very, very concerning. So even though the later trailers looked really stable, I think that was my biggest concern going into this game up until I was like a few hours in and hadn't experienced it. And that was a big relief that this game doesn't stutter or like jitter all the time and make your eyes hurt.
Yeah, I think that's the benefit of it having pretty bad textures. Is that it runs pretty smoothly.
Yeah. Well, because you also have riding Pokemon in this game, which were in all the trailers, so like you get to ride a big deer, and it makes exploring the world like a lot faster and a lot more, like you feel a lot more in control, because sometimes it's daunting how far you have to go to get something, but if you're on the back of a deer, you go really fast. It does demonstrate one of the shortcomings of the game, because like things do not render until you are directly in front of them, so like grass will not be there until you are there. So it's running at 30, but like not everything's there all the time.
Yeah. That was
It's much better about Pokemon though. I think they learned from Sword and Shield.
I was going to say that was like the big thing with Sword and Shield is you'd just be like riding your bike and everything would be fine. And then all of a sudden like a Steelix would just like pop up out of the earth and you'd be like, "Oh," and then you'd have to like stop or just like get right into the battle.
Yeah, they fixed that. So you know where Pokemon are ahead of time, which is also nice because if you run up with a deer, a lot of Pokemon will be like, "Oh, crap," and run. So if you couldn't see them till you got there, that would be very frustrating.
I get scared. I can't take it. I'm thinking about Bidoof.
Oh, Bidoof. So many. I didn't know how big B-Barrel was.
Oh, yeah, he's a big boy.
He's big. I actually know how big now.
Yeah.
You mentioned the plot briefly earlier. For me, the plot is like, it's intriguing enough. It's more of a mystery story, which is a nice change because we're really used to like become the champion stories.
Mm-hmm.
So simply changing that is really cool. But I almost feel like, in my personal experience, it's serving as a B plot, and I'm viewing filling my Pokedex as the A plot. I am way more invested in filling my Pokedex and like researching Pokemon than I am in actually discovering the truth of the story. Because the big thing of this story is you were summoned to this world by a mysterious figure who resembles Zelda from Breath of the Wild. That is one thing for me. It opens on like the exact same opening as Breath of the Wild, with like the star in the middle of the screen shining and a mysterious voice talking to you. And I was like, oh no.
And you get a weird like tablet phone thing right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Breath of the Wild comparisons are fair. I think, it is visually inspired by Breath of the Wild. You explore in a similar fashion to Breath of the Wild. The story feels similar to Breath of the Wild. The big goal is fighting these frenzied Pokemon, as they're called. I cannot tell you how many times I've accidentally said divine beasts. Because it's like they're beasts who are divine. They're Pokemon who are like called divine Pokemon. It's like, come on, guys.
But there's no sexy fish princes in this one, so.
There are sexy fish, though. Have you ever heard of Octillery? Magikarp?
I'm not sure I would define them as particularly sexy, but you know what? You do you.
You don't think Octillery the octopus?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess. Editor, can you cut that one out?
Just replace it with me saying yes.
Overall, I think this game is really, really good. This is the first time I've been engaged in a Pokemon game since, it's hard to say, either Black and White or X and Y. Those were so long ago now that my vision of what I was feeling at the time is kind of blurry. I know for sure Black and White Interestingly, I played Black and White after X and Y, so
And you're like, wow, this is
better.
This is so much better.
Well, because I got a complete Pokedex in X and Y, which was like 800 Pokemon or whatever at the time. But I couldn't get a lot of them without finishing Black and White to transfer things up. So I was like, well, I guess I'll speedrun Black and White, which I never finished. And then I rushed through it and I really enjoyed it.
It's the best.
Like a lot. It's really good. Like Diamond Pearl are my favorite for nostalgic reasons, but Black and White was, I would say, the last time I was truly engaged in a Pokemon game. I've enjoyed them since then. Like Sun and Moon were fine. Sword and Shield was fine. But it was just kind of going through the motions, the comforting motions. Whereas now I am engaged in this world. I want, like right now, we are talking about Pokemon, and I kind of just want to go downstairs and play it.
Okay.
And that's cool.
Bye.
Well, yeah.
Just kidding.
It is a flawed game. If you are going into this without any Pokemon experience, you might not see the appeal as much as people who have experience, because it almost feels like this is what we've been building towards for all this time. This is the open world Pokemon game that so many people have wanted for so long. Basically, since it went 3D, this became like well, why isn't Pokemon like this? And especially since 2017 when the Switch came out, it felt like, well, why isn't this what Pokemon is? And now we're 5 years into the Switch lifespan. That's crazy. It took 5 Switch life years for this to come out. I just put that together in my brain.
Yeah.
But if this is the direction of Pokemon, if this is what the next generation is going to look like, I am really excited for the future of Pokemon, which is something I have not been for a very long time.
I'm all aboard. Choo choo. All aboard the train.
Is there any train Pokemon? I wasn't ignoring you. I was trying to remember if there's a train Pokemon. I don't think there is.
Wait.
Okay.
Hold.
I'm holding.
Choo choo train.
Are you looking up the Putt-Putt? No, Putt-Putt's a car, not a train.
No.
I'm sorry.
There's no train Pokemon. There's a magnet train in Johto.
Okay.
And it's the one that connects Kanto and Johto.
Okay. Also, people really liked to complain when Sword and Shield came out that there wasn't a complete Pokedex. I am enormously relieved there is not a full Pokedex in this game.
That would be insane.
It would be overwhelming. It would be hard to enjoy.
You would never be able to finish the game.
Yeah, because catching 1,000 Pokemon is one thing. That's hard, but you can do it. But you have to complete research tasks for all these Pokemon. And I don't know the exact number. I believe it's under 300 if what I've heard is correct. So, which is like an enormous cut. But also at the same time, I'm like, but that's a reasonable number considering the nature of this game.
Yep.
And unless the pace is drastically derailed, to bring us back to the trains, I'm probably going to do everything this game has to do. I'm like about, I believe, halfway through the main narrative. It's hard to tell, but I'm probably about like 40 to 50% of the way through the narrative. And at no point have I felt like I was like trudging through it. It has felt fast paced and enjoyable at all points. So I'm looking forward to playing this even more than I have.
I'm looking forward to playing it more as well. And hopefully
Which starter did you pick? Oh my god, I am so sorry. What starter did you pick, Kelly?
Yes.
Did you pick Rowlet? Did you pick Oshawott? Wow, I missed. I can't believe I got all of it wrong. Cyndaquil, really?
Yeah. I'm a big
just for the Johto nostalgia.
Well, I love Cyndaquil. It's my favorite starter, period. Besides like Piplup. I also love Piplup. But yeah, Cyndaquil is my favorite. And I don't know. I love Typhlosion. It's my favorite. So it got me through my favorite Soul Silver run. So I kind of had to go with it. But I love Oshawott. I love Oshawott's final evolution. Samurott, what's it called?
I think Samurott.
Samurott. I love his final evolution. Rowlet, I like. Not as much.
I
Wait, don't tell me. I want to guess who you picked.
Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna tell you, but I'll let you guess.
Was it Oshawott?
No.
Was it Rowlet?
Yeah. Okay. At least you got it on number 2. I like Oshawott the best as the starting, like the base form.
Mhm.
I think Oshawott's the cutest. I like Decidueye the best of all the finals.
He's very
The
cool.
thing about this game, this is a very mild spoiler, but just don't Google it, and then it won't be a real spoiler. They have different finals, so they look different. They look different now than they always have in their final evolutions. And I don't like spoilers, so I didn't Google it. So I was like, well, I like Decidueye best, but who knows if I'll like the final evolution this time. I'm mixed on it, but I like it. I like it still because I got the final evolution.
Oh.
But I'm assuming there's some means of getting all of them at some point.
Yeah.
So I haven't found a Piplup yet though. So that's
Aw.
I know he's in the game because he's on like a bunch of the promotional stuff.
Piplup, so cute.
Yeah, I got a Chimchar like right at the beginning, and I was like, oh, it's a Chimchar, but I didn't get a Piplup. And once I do, it's just he will be my main. Like he will be the Pokemon I use.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
This game's also going to be really fun for shiny hunters, which is cool because you can like increase your odds by researching the Pokemon more.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like pick a Pokemon that you want to get a shiny of and then fully research it. Because you don't have to do everything for a Pokemon's Dex entry to be full, because some of the stuff you have to do is like, you have to do a lot of stuff to fill it completely. But if you fill it completely, increases your shiny odds. So this game, there's going to be a lot of good shiny hunting content.
Very nice. What about breeding? Is that a thing in this game?
I don't know. I have not gotten to that yet.
Okay.
I assume maybe.
There's like the pastures, and I thought maybe that had something to do with it, but
that replaced the box. There's no
That
box.
makes sense. Okay.
So when you like have an excess of Pokemon, they don't just go into a random mysterious box. They go into a pasture because it's ancient.
Cute. They're all hanging out in the pasture.
As long as by all you mean 4, because it never renders more than a couple. Like you can look at the pasture, and I was like, oh, I get to see all of them. And I walked up, and I was like, where are my That's 4 Pokemon.
Aw. Well, 4 of them are getting to hang out in the pasture.
Yeah, it's a different 4 every time, which I guess is cool.
Yeah.
I did have an Ambipom in there, and it was so big.
I don't like Ambipom.
I love Apom. Not a big fan of Ambipom.
He's very scary. Doesn't Cynthia have an Ambipom?
I'm not sure.
Let me look it up.
Ambipom's an example of frenzied Pokemon in the wild, though, that you can run into. They have like these scary red eyes, and they're big. And Ambipom was really big, and it unsettled me. Like, he was probably like 7 or 8 feet tall, and it really made me uncomfortable. Because I think he's supposed to be like 4 or 5 feet tall, and then he was 8 feet tall.
I don't like that.
Yeah, 4'11". So he's 5 feet tall normally, and this Ambipom was like 8 feet tall, and I did not like
That's
it.
how tall I am.
5'11" or 4'11" or 8 foot tall?
8 foot tall.
Lady Dimitrescu.
I wish.
Well, everybody, we played it. We played the new Pokemon.
We did it.
We're going to play a lot more, I assume. Well, I definitely will play an upsetting amount. You'll probably play a civil amount, right?
I might play an upsetting amount depending on when I hit that threshold.
You're definitely, you are very close.
I'm ready.
Yeah. It is, I mean, you saw like a lot of the base stuff is really good. The music is really good at the start. The battle mechanics are fun. There's so few battles, which is cool. Like, I battled quite a few wild Pokemon, but like at this point I have, and like I said, I'm like 50% of the way through the main narrative. I've fought like 5 trainers. That's it. Because like battling Pokemon is hardly a thing in this universe, because like most people don't even know how to like domesticate these Pokemon. They're scared of them. They're wild creatures.
Right.
So very few trainers are able to battle with you.
Right.
Top of the line game, though. It's top of the line Pokemon game.
Yes.
Will I call it top of the line game? Ask me in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I think it has a satisfying loop, so I think anybody could enjoy this game. But whether I'd recommend this to a non-Pokemon fan, I think I'd need to play more before I could actually come to that conclusion. So, well, Kelly, we did it.
We did it.
We caught them all.
We did it.
We caught all of the NFTs.
Finally. Now we can
Oh my god, if Pokemon made an NFT line and they said gotta catch them all.
Don't give them ideas.
I'm so sorry. That's going to happen now, and it will be my fault. But thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode. Thankfully, we have not been bought by PlayStation, so we are still independent.
Yet.
I was worried because Microsoft, it felt like a threat last week, but now, like, PlayStation's entering the game.
They're going to be fighting over us.
Yeah, we cost $7.8 trillion.
That's true.
Biggest acquisition of anything ever.
That's true.
We'll talk to you next week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.